Hey guys, tonight we're staying up way past bedtime, chasing the kind of chill that settles in your bones like damp fog rolling off forgotten tracks. I'm standing on the cracked platform of Union Hollow Station, the last passenger for the 2:07 a.m. to Ashfall Mill, a town that's been coughing up rust since the last factory whistle died in '89. The air smells of wet iron and something sweeter, like bruised apples left too long in the cellar. I wish I'd never accepted that crumpled timetable from the porter's shaking hand. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your current local time in the comments and name one creepy thing in your room right now. Mine's the old conductor's cap hanging on the coat rack, swaying though the windows are sealed. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The station clock ticks louder than it should, each second a hammer on coffin nails. I'm Elias Ward, 34, junior archivist for the County Historical Society, clutching a leather satchel stuffed with grainy microfiche about Ashfall's vanished textile boom. The grant deadline is sunrise. If I miss this train, the funding vanishes like morning mist. Real-world fact. The last passenger service through Union Hollow ran in 1973. Everything since has been freight. Yet here's a single restored carriage glowing under a sodium lamp the color of old bruises. Urban legend says the rails still remember the workers who vanished during the '29 strike, their names etched into the ties with boot heels. Experts still argue whether the disappearances were union-busting cover-ups or something the Marsh swallowed whole. I shuffle aboard. The porter, face powdered gray as ash, presses a folded sheet into my palm. His glove is damp, like he's been gripping a frog. "Mind the stops, sir," he whispers, breath smelling of peat and pennies. The paper is thick, almost bark, inked in hurried brown. I tuck it away, figuring it's a heritage gimmick, maybe a scavenger hunt for tourists who romanticize decay. The carriage smells of cedar shavings and something fungal. Only 6 other souls, a woman knitting shadows, a boy pressing toy cars against the window, an elderly couple sharing earbuds that leak tinny hymnals. I claim a window seat near the rear, vinyl cool against my neck. The train lurches before I buckle the brass latch on my satchel, and we're rolling, slow as a funeral cortege. Lights flicker, not the usual stutter, but a deliberate pulse, like the bulbs are breathing. I unfold the timetable under the weak amber glow. It isn't a schedule. 6 rules, scratched so deep the paper fibers lift like splinters. Between the 3rd and 4th bell, keep the curtains drawn. Refuse any cup offered by the crimson conductor. Should you hear a child counting backward in the washroom, summon the guard at once. Abandon your seat if a parcel exhales beside you. Speak to no traveler who boards after Briar Junction. At the final station, accept the ginger ale poured from the blue tin. I laugh, a dry bark that echoes too long. Someone's idea of immersive theater. My phone has no signal. The grant files will have to wait. Outside, the marsh slides by, black water catching starlight in oily slicks. Reeds bow as if something heavy just passed between them. I close my eyes, planning a quick nap, but the seat across the aisle creaks. Empty when I boarded. Now a valise rests there, burgundy leather cracked like dried blood, brass clasps shaped like tiny fox heads. No tag, no owner. It wasn't there a heartbeat ago. The carriage lights dim further, and the knitting woman's needles click in perfect sync with the wheels. Click-clack, click-clack. I count 8 rows before I realize she's unraveling the same yarn over and over, the scarf never growing. The boy with the toy cars has turned them upside down. Their wheels spin though his fingers are still. I shift, and the valise exhales, a soft sigh like lungs remembering air. A bead of amber liquid seeps from the seam, smelling of sap and wet dog. My pulse stumbles. I glance at the rules again. Parcel. Exhales. I'm already breaking number 4 by staring. Footsteps approach from the front, unhurried, measured. A woman in a conductor's uniform the color of fresh liver. Her cap sits low, shadow swallowing her eyes. The other passengers don't look up. She stops beside me, smile polished as coffin brass. Tea, Mr. Ward? Her voice is honey poured over gravel. She knows my name. The cup she offers is bone china, delicate as eggshell, steam curling into shapes, tiny roots unfurling. Inside the liquid, pale threads drift, alive, tasting the air. My stomach flips. Rule 2. Crimson conductor. I swallow. Just water, thanks. She tilts her head, and for a second the cap lifts. Her eyes are hollow sockets filled with wet moss. Water is for the dead, Elias. This brew remembers the living. The roots in the tea stretch toward my lips like blind worms. I press back into the seat. The vinyl sticks to my shirt with a sound like peeling skin. Maybe later, I manage. Her smile doesn't waver, but the cup trembles, tea sloshing over the rim, sizzling where it touches the floorboards. Tiny holes open, smoking. She glides on, offering the same cup to the knitting woman, who accepts without looking. The boy takes a sip and giggles. Bubbles rise from his nostrils, shaped like tiny nooses. I grip the rule sheet until it crumples. The train whistle moans. 3 long notes. The first bell. Somewhere ahead, the Marsh answers with a chorus of croaks that sync with my heartbeat. I need the restroom, splash cold water, ground myself. The aisle feels longer than the carriage allows, carpet swallowing my footsteps. Behind me, the valise sighs again louder. I don't turn. The washroom door is warped oak, brass plate reading lavatory, mind the gap. I slip inside, lock it. The mirror is missing, just a dark rectangle where reflection should be. I twist the tap, water sputters rust, then clear. I'm cupping it to my face when the counting starts. 10-9. A child's voice, muffled through the wall. My hands freeze. 8-7. Closer now, behind the paneling. The temperature drops, my breath fogs. 6. The voice cracks, metal on metal. 5. It's inside the stall with me. I back against the door. The counting accelerates, slurred. 4-3. Then laughter, wet and mechanical, like a music box drowning. Rule 3. Summon the guard. I fumble the lock, stumble into the corridor. The crimson conductor is already there, flanked by 2 guards in indigo coats, faces pale as candle wax. One carries a burlap sack that twitches. Another clutches a tin of ginger ale, condensation beating like sweat. Child in the washroom, I croak. They don't ask questions. The guards move with practiced terror, one sliding a silver harmonica from his pocket, playing a single shrill note that makes my teeth ache. The laughter behind the door hiccups, then warps into a sound like tearing burlap. The sack inflates, something inside scrabbling. The crimson conductor watches me, head cocked. Well done, archivist. Most ignore the counting. Her tongue is too long, forked at the tip, tasting the air. The guards shove past, sack first. The door slams. Muffled thumps, a child's scream that isn't a child's, the harmonica shrieking higher. I cover my ears, but the sound burrows. When it stops, the silence is worse, thick as peat. I stagger back to my seat. The valise is open now, lid yawning. Inside, darkness pulses. A single pale tendril, thin as fishing line, snakes out, tasting the air. It brushes my ankle, cold as creek water. I jerk away, heart slamming. Rule 4. Abandon your seat. I grab my satchel, but the tendril loops my wrist, gentle, curious. Another emerges, then a third, each tipped with a tiny suction cup that leaves red rings. The amber liquid pools beneath the valise, spreading in perfect circles. The knitting woman glances up. Her eyes are buttons, black and shiny. She nods toward the rear of the carriage. I rip free, skin stinging, and bolt. The guards meet me halfway. One takes my elbow, firm but trembling. This way, sir. Quickly. They lead me past rows of sleeping passengers who breathe in perfect unison, chests rising like bellows. The boy with the toy cars now has wheels for eyes, spinning though his lids are closed. At the back, an empty bench faces a window painted black. Stay here till dawn, the guard whispers. Whatever you do, don't open the curtains when the third bell tolls. His badge reads, Briar Junction, EST 1849. The year the Marsh swallowed the first mill. I sink onto the bench, satchel clutched to my chest. The train rocks, gentle now, almost maternal. Outside, the marsh exhales. I count my breaths, waiting for the next horror to choose its shape. The carriage settles into a lullaby sway, iron wheels singing their endless hymn beneath my boots. I press my spine against the painted window and try to convince myself the cold is just night air seeping through old wood. My wrist still throbs where the tendril kissed it, 3 perfect circles, already bruising violet. The guards have vanished forward, leaving only the faint scent of pine smoke and fear sweat. I fish the rule sheet from my pocket. The ink has bled, letters squirming like tadpoles. Rule 2 glares up at me. Refuse any cup offered by the crimson conductor. I fold the paper smaller, until it's a hard pellet I can swallow if I have to. Real-world fact. The marsh outside is part of the Great Dismal Swamp, a peat bog that preserves bodies for centuries. Locals call it the fridge of the forgotten. Internet tidbit says hikers who stray off the boardwalk sometimes find shoes still laced, centuries old, walking on their own. Experts still argue whether the preservation is chemical or something hungrier. A bell tolls, low and mournful, the second of the night. My stomach knots. The knitting woman has moved 3 rows closer. Her scarf is longer now, trailing like a bridal train of cobwebs. The boys' toy cars have multiplied. A dozen red convertibles race figure eights across his lap, wheels whispering secrets. I close my eyes and count heartbeats the way my grandmother taught me during storms. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, but the numbers taste like rust. Footsteps again, lighter this time, almost playful. I smell her before I see her. Crushed hemlock and candle wax. The crimson conductor stands at the end of my bench, cap tilted back now, revealing a face stitched from moonlight and bark. Her smile is a seam that shouldn't open. Still thirsty, archivist? She produces a silver hip flask, unscrews the cap with a sound like tearing paper. The liquid inside glows soft gold, thick as sap. Tiny rootlets drift on the surface, curling toward me like blind kittens. It's distilled from the first tree felled for the mill, she croons. Tastes of promises kept. My mouth waters against my will. I haven't drunk since the station vending machine spat lukewarm coffee 6 hours ago. Rule 2. I shake my head. Ginger ale at the end, right? I'll wait. Her laugh is wind through hollow reeds. Waiting is a luxury the marsh doesn't grant. She tips the flask. A single drop falls, hits the floor, and grows. A pale shoot unfurls, questing. Then another, braiding into a vine that snakes toward my boot. I jerk my feet up. The vine pauses, tasting the air, then retreats into the puddle with a wet sigh. She leans closer. Her breath is warm, spiced with cloves and grave dirt. You're good with words, Elias. Archivists always are. Tell me a story, and I'll let you keep your tongue. Her fingers brush my knee, bark rough, cold as iron. I swallow. My job is stories, old ones, the kind that rot in filing cabinets. I open my mouth, and the words come unbidden. Once there was a mill owner who promised the workers shares if they met quota. They did. He paid them in IOUs written on birch bark. The marsh took the IOUs, took the men, took the mill. Only the whistle remained, calling shifts that never end. Her eyes flicker, moss green for a heartbeat, then crimson again. Pretty, she murmurs. But stories have endings. She straightens, flask vanishing into her coat. Yours is still being written. She glides away, but the vine stays, pulsing gently where the drop fell. I watch it thicken, sending out feelers that tap the bench like blind fingers. The third bell is coming. I feel it in the rails, a vibration climbing my spine. The guards reappear, faces slick with sweat despite the chill. One carries a lantern made of smoked glass. Inside, a single firefly beats itself against the walls, leaving streaks of green light. Curtains, he hisses, yanking the black paint across my window with a sound like tearing velvet. The other passengers stir, obedient, drawing their own. The boys' car stops spinning. The knitting woman bites off her yarn with her teeth. The scarf slithers to the floor and crawls beneath the seat. Darkness swallows the carriage, broken only by the lantern's sickly glow. Outside, the marsh begins to sing, a low thrumming that matches the train's heartbeat. Rule 1. Between the third and fourth bell, keep the curtains drawn. I clutch the satchel to my chest like a child with a teddy bear. The temperature plummets. Frost feathers the window's edge, forming tiny fern patterns that spell words I can't read. Then the light comes, not red but a throbbing emerald, seeping around the curtain's hem like spilled absinthe. It pulses in time with the thrumming, brighter, brighter, until the painted glass glows translucent. Shadows move beyond, tall as trees, jointed wrong. Branches? No, antlers, dozens, hundreds, scraping the sky. The train shudders. Something massive brushes the roof, slow and deliberate, leaving a trail of wet prints that steam. I press my hands over my ears, but the sound is inside me now. A chorus of voices counting down in languages that predate the mill, predate the swamp, predate bone. The emerald light flickers, and for a second I see her, the crimson conductor, standing outside the window, palms flat against the glass, face inches from mine. Her mouth moves. Look. The antlers lean closer, tips dripping phosphorescent sap. One taps the glass, gentle, curious. Crack. A hairline fracture spiders from the point of contact. The lantern firefly goes dark. In the sudden black, the vine on the floor finds my ankle, loops twice, tightens. I bite back a scream. The counting reaches 0, and the world holds its breath. Then the fourth bell tolls, distant, relieved. The emerald light gutters out. The antlers withdraw with a sound like tearing roots. The vine loosens, slithers away, leaving my skin raw. The guards exhale in unison. One lifts the curtain a finger's width. Outside, the marsh is ordinary again. Black water, silver reeds, nothing more. But taped to the glass, fluttering in the draft from the cracked pane, is a photograph. Sepia, edges scalloped like doilies. A dozen mill workers in Sunday best, posed before the original brick factory. Smile stiff, eyes bright. At the edge stands a young woman in a crimson coat, cap jaunty, one hand raised in a wave. Someone has drawn tiny X's over her eyes in charcoal that still smells of smoke. On the back, in fading pencil, Clara, Whistle Girl, 1893. The year the marsh rose and took the east wing. I tuck the photo into my satchel beside the microfiche. My hands won't stop shaking. The knitting woman is gone. Only her scarf remains, knotted into a noose around the luggage rack. The boy sleeps now, thumb in mouth, but his toy cars are melted into the seat, plastic fused like scar tissue. The train slows, a sign slides past, Briar Junction, POP 0. The platform is a single lantern and a bench carved from a fallen cypress. No one boards. No one gets off. But the air changes, heavier, scented with wet wool and something metallic. Rule 5. Speak to no traveler who boards after Briar Junction. I hunch smaller, counting minutes until dawn. The crimson conductor returns, flask replaced by a silver tray bearing a single object. A child's tin lunchbox, rusted, painted with faded daisies. She sets it on the bench beside me. For the archive, she says, voice soft as moss. The lid creaks open on its own. Inside, nestled in straw, is a human finger, pale, perfectly preserved, nail painted the same crimson as her coat. It twitches. I slam the lid. The train lurches forward, faster now, as if eager to outrun what follows. The lunchbox sits between us like a sleeping animal. I don't touch it, but I feel its pulse through the bench, a slow thump-thump that matches the wheels. The finger inside keeps time. The carriage lights have steadied to a bruised amber, the color of old photographs left in attics. My satchel is heavier now. Clara's picture weighs more than paper should. I slide the tin box to the floor with my boot. It scoots back, stubborn. Real-world fact. Peat bogs release methane in rhythmic burps, enough to light a match and see faces in the flame. Internet creepypasta claims if you hear 3 knocks on a train at night, the bog is asking for its workers back. Experts still argue whether the gas is flammable or just lonely. A new smell drifts in, hot iron and wet wool. The guards pace the aisle, boots leaving damp prints that steam and vanish. One pauses, eyes ringed red. "Don't open it," he mutters, nodding at the lunchbox. Not till the final station. His badge is crooked now. The cypress tree emblem has sprouted tiny roots that curl around the pin. He moves on before I can ask whose finger it is. The boy across the aisle is awake, staring at me with eyes too large, pupils blown wide. His toy cars are gone. In their place, small wooden whistles carved into animal shapes. He lifts one, a fox, and blows. No sound comes, but the lunchbox lid lifts a fraction. I kick it shut. The boy smiles, teeth too many for his mouth. The train whistles, a single mournful note that isn't on any schedule. Briar Junction is behind us. The marsh has thickened, water lapping the rails like a tongue. Rule 5 burns in my mind. Speak to no traveler who boards after Briar Junction. The carriage door at the far end hisses open. Cold air rushes in, carrying the scent of turned earth and lilacs past their season. A figure steps through, tall, stooped, wrapped in a coat the color of storm clouds. Hat brim low, face lost in shadow. No one else reacts. The knitting woman's scarf tightens its noose. The elderly couple's hymnals fall silent. The newcomer shuffles down the aisle, boots leaving no prints. He stops beside my bench, lowers himself with a sound like settling dust. The lunchbox scoots toward him, eager. I press into the corner. He smells of library glue and river mud. A gloved hand emerges from the coat sleeve, too long, joints bending wrong, and rests on the tin. The finger inside taps once, greeting. "Evening, archivist," he rasps, voice like pages turning in damp air. "Heard you're collecting stories." I shake my head slow. Rule 5. No speaking. He chuckles, a sound of dry leaves. "Smart. Words are seeds here. Plant the wrong one, and it grows teeth." His glove splits. Pale roots push through the seams, questing. One brushes my knee, curious. I jerk away. The lunchbox pops open. The finger is gone. In its place, a single white feather, wet with sap. The newcomer lifts the feather, twirls it between root fingers. Clara's once. She blew the whistle that called the shift change. 5 short, 1 long. Still calls some nights. He leans closer, under the hat brim. His face is a hollow, eyes 2 pools of black water. You'll hear it soon. The roots retreat into his sleeve. He stands, coat rustling like wings, and moves to the front. The door hisses shut behind him. The lunchbox stays open, empty, straw inside shifting as if something small just burrowed deeper. I exhale shakily. The guards return, faces grim. One carries a bundle wrapped in blue cloth. The other, a tin of ginger ale, condensation beating like tears. Almost there, the first whispers. "Keep the rules," and the Marsh spits you out. He unwraps the cloth. A child's wooden whistle, fox-shaped, identical to the boy's. The second guard pops the ginger ale, pours it into a paper cup. The fizz is loud in the silence. "Not yet," he says, setting the cup on the bench. When the sky pales, they leave. The cup trembles, bubbles rising in perfect circles. The train slows. Another platform slides past, unlit, overgrown with cattails. A sign dangles by one nail. Ashfall Mill, next stop. Population scratched out, replaced with a single word in red paint. Soon. The boy stands, walks to the door, presses his face to the glass. His breath fogs it into a map of the marsh. Behind him, the elderly couple unlink hands. Their fingers have fused, skin webbed like frogs. The knitting woman is unraveling herself now, yarn pulling from her sleeves, her throat, pooling on the floor in a growing pile. I clutch the rule sheet. Only 2 left. Speak to no one. Drink the ginger ale. The newcomer returns, coat open. Beneath, his chest is a hollow cavity filled with black water. Tiny fish dart inside, silver flashes. He sits again, closer. "Trade," he says, voice bubbling. "One memory for safe passage." I shake my head. He sighs, water dripping from his cuffs. "Then I'll take what's offered." The lunchbox lid slams shut on its own. The finger is back, but longer now, jointed like a spider leg. It taps the bench, insistent. Tap. Tap, tap. The boy turns from the window, fox whistle to his lips. No sound, but the finger responds, curling, beckoning. The boy walks toward us, barefoot, leaving wet prints that smell of pond scum. I stand, satchel slamming into my hip. The guards appear, blocking the aisle. Seats taken, one barks at the boy. The child stops, head tilting. His mouth opens, inside, a whirlpool of teeth. The guard blows the fox whistle. A single shrill note. The boy's form ripples, shrinks, becomes a swirl of cattail fluff that drifts to the ceiling and sticks. The newcomer laughs, water sloshing. Clever. But the marsh keeps its own. He reaches into his chest cavity, pulls out a memory, my grandmother's face, young, smiling, preserved in a bubble of black water. He crushes it. The sound is my own scream, muffled. The train lurches. Lights flicker. The ginger ale cup tips, spills. The liquid spreads, hissing where it touches the floor, eating tiny holes. The guards shout, ushering passengers forward. The knitting woman's yarn has become a net, trapping the elderly couple. They struggle, silent. I grab the cup, right it, but it's empty. The newcomer stands, towering. Time's a river, archivist. You're downstream now. His roots burst from his sleeves, thick as wrists, wrapping the lunchbox. The finger inside grows, punches through the tin, reaches for me. I back away, trip over the ginger ale puddle. My hand lands in it. The liquid burns cold, numbs my fingers. The fourth bell tolls, desperate. The emerald light is gone, but a new glow seeps under the door. Pale gold, like sunrise through dirty glass. The newcomer hisses, roots retracting. The lunchbox slams shut, latches itself. He dissolves into cattail fluff, joining the boy on the ceiling. The guards haul me up. Final stretch, one pants. Don't break now. They drag me forward, past the netted couple, past the knitting woman who is only yarn now, a pile that twitches. The boy's fluff drifts down, settles on my shoulders like dandruff. We reach the front carriage, empty except for a single bench facing a window painted dawn pink. The guards seat me, buckle a leather strap across my lap. For your own good, they mutter. The ginger ale tin is here, full, unopened. Rule 6. The train whistle blows 5 short, 1 long. Clara's call. The marsh outside is thinning. I glimpse brick chimneys, skeletal, against a sky bleeding light. The guards stand guard, faces turned away. Drink when the wheels stop, one says. Not before. The train slows. The platform approaches. Ashfall Mill, arrived. The sign is fresh paint, still wet. Passengers detrain, silent, leaving belongings. The knitting pile, the elderly webbing, the boy's fluff, all gone, absorbed. I'm alone with the guards and the tin. The wheels screech, stop. Silence. The guards unbuckle me, press the tin into my hands. Now, I pop it. The ginger ale fizzes, smells of childhood summers and safety. I drink. It's warm, spicy, alive. The carriage dissolves around me, wood becoming brick, seats becoming conveyor belts frozen mid-motion. I stand in the mill's gut, dawn light slanting through broken windows. The guards are gone. In my pocket, the rule sheet is blank. On the floor, the lunchbox, open, empty. But tucked inside my satchel, beneath Clara's photo, is a new ticket. One way, return, tonight's date. The whistle blows, distant, calling the next shift. The mill's air tastes of rust and wet wool, but the ginger ale still hums on my tongue, warm and grounding, like a hand on my shoulder I can't see. Dawn leaks through the broken skylight in dusty spears, catching motes that drift like tiny ghosts. I'm standing on the old loading dock, boots crunching on shattered safety glass. The platform sign swings overhead. Ashfall Mill, arrived, its fresh red paint dripping slow as blood. My satchel hangs heavy with Clara's photo and the blank rule sheet, but the new ticket burns hottest, a stiff rectangle of cardstock that wasn't there when I boarded. One-way return, tonight, 2:07 a.m. The whistle answers from the marsh, 5 short, 1 long, patient. Real-world fact. The Ashfall Mill's main boiler exploded in 1893, the same year Clara posed for that photo. The blast peeled the roof like a tin can and scattered worker badges across the bog. Internet legend says every anniversary the whistle calls the missing home, and the rails glow green for exactly 45 minutes. Experts still argue whether the glow is swamp gas or the badges trying to punch back in. I step off the dock onto cracked concrete. The guards are gone, but their footprints remain, perfect indigo outlines that steam and fade. The ginger ale tin lies crushed beside a rusted conveyor, its blue paint flaking like old skin. I nudge it with my toe. It rolls, stops against a child's shoe, small, leather, laces knotted into perfect bows. The shoe is wet, as if just pulled from the marsh. I leave it. The mill yawns around me, looms frozen mid-weave, threads dangling like spider silk. Somewhere deep inside, a machine coughs once, then dies. My phone finally finds a bar, weak, flickering. A single notification, grant approved. Files needed by noon. The clock reads 5:47 a.m. I have 6 hours to cross town, upload the microfiche, and pretend none of this happened. But the ticket in my pocket pulses, warm as a heartbeat. I tuck it deeper, next to Clara's photo. The X's over her eyes have bled, charcoal running into tears. Outside, the marsh has retreated, leaving a crust of salt and cattails. A dirt path leads to the road. I follow it, boots squelching. The air smells of coffee and diesel, civilization, close enough to taste. A pickup idles at the gate, driver's cap pulled low. The window rolls down. Elias Ward? The voice is familiar, the guard from the train, but his coat is denim now, badge replaced by a union pin. Hop in. Town's waking up. I hesitate. Rule 5 is over, but the marsh isn't. He smiles, tired. We all ride the loop, archivist. Some just get off sooner. I climb in. The cab smells of pine cleaner and wet dog. He hands me a thermos. Coffee. Real beans. I sniff. Nothing writhing inside. And drink. It's bitter, perfect. We roll past the mill's gates, rusted open like jaws. In the rear view, the platform sign drips its last red drop. The driver, his name tag reads Breyer, talks without looking over. Clara was my great-aunt. Blew the whistle the night the boiler went. Saved half the shift. The marsh took the rest. And her. He taps the steering wheel. Every year it tries again. Different train, same rules. The town appears, clapboard houses, a diner with a flickering open sign, a library the size of a shoebox. He drops me at the Historical Society, a squat brick building with a cannon out front. Noon, he says. After that, the loop resets. The truck pulls away, tires hissing on wet asphalt. I watch until it vanishes around a bend, taillights blinking like fox eyes. Inside, the society is empty, lights on motion sensors. I boot the ancient scanner, feed the microfiche. Images flicker, payroll ledgers, union demands, a grainy photo of Clara at the whistle, cheeks flushed, eyes bright. No X's. The grant email pings, files received, funding secured. Relief floods me, thin and shaky. I print the confirmation, fold it into my satchel. The clock reads 11:58. 2 minutes to spare. But the ticket is warm again, hotter. I pull it out. The return time has changed. 2:07 a.m. is scratched out, replaced by now. Ink still wet. The library door creaks open on its own. Outside, the sky has darkened to bruise purple, though the sun was high moments ago. The marsh smell rolls in, thick as soup. I step onto the porch. The street is empty, diner sign dark, cannon gone. The path to the mill glows faint green underfoot, cattails sprouting between cracks. I run, not away, toward. The ticket drags me like a leash. The mill rises ahead, windows lit from within by emerald fire. The whistle blows, 5 short, 1 long. Clara's call. I reach the platform. The train waits, single carriage, restored to nightmare gloss. The crimson conductor stands at the door, cap in hand. Her hair is loose now, long and black, moving though there's no wind. Cutting it close, archivist, she says, voice soft as moss. Seats saved. I board. The carriage is empty except for the lunchbox, open on my old bench. Inside, the child's shoe, laces still knotted. The finger is back, wearing the shoe like a puppet. It waves. The doors seal. The train lurches forward, slow, deliberate. The guards appear, indigo coats pristine. One hands me a fresh rule sheet, ink still wet. 6 rules, same as before, but the 6th now reads, at the final station, refuse the ginger ale. The emerald light seeps under the curtains. The 3rd bell tolls. I draw the curtains tight, heart hammering. The antlers return, scraping. The vine on the floor blooms, pale flowers opening to reveal tiny eyes. The boy's fluff drifts from the ceiling, forming his face, smiling. The knitting woman's yarn weaves itself into a noose around my wrist, gentle, insistent. The newcomer sits beside me, chest cavity full of black water and my grandmother's crushed memory. He offers the fox whistle. Blow, he bubbles. Call the shift. I clutch the ticket. It's blank now, a white rectangle pulsing with heat. The train slows. Ashfall Mill platform slides past, but the sign reads Union Hollow departing. Full circle. The crimson conductor kneels, eyes soft moss green. You kept the rules, Elias. Most don't. The Marsh is grateful. She presses something into my hand. Clara's photo. X is gone, eyes bright and alive. She's waiting. The doors open. Dawn light, real dawn, spills in. The Marsh is gone, replaced by the Historical Society's cannon and the diner's flickering open. I step off. The train dissolves behind me, steam and cattails. The ticket in my pocket is ordinary cardstock, return stub punched. The photo shows Clara waving. Alive, 1893. On the back, new pencil. Thank you for the story. I walk to the diner. Coffee smells real. The clock reads 6:02 a.m. I have the grant, the files, the morning. But in my satchel, beneath the microfiche, the rule sheet is no longer blank. One line, fresh ink. Tell the next passenger. The diner smells of bacon grease and burnt sugar, the kind of place where the coffee refills itself and the waitress calls you Han, even if she's never seen you before. I slide into a booth by the window, the vinyl warm from the morning sun. My hands still tremble around the mug. The ceramic is chipped, shaped like a tiny fox head. The waitress, name tag reads Marla, pours without asking. Rough night sugar? Her voice is gravel and honey. I nod, not trusting words yet. Outside, Union Hollow wakes slow. A mail truck, a dog chasing its tail, the Historical Society's flag snapping in a breeze that smells of cut grass, not marsh. Real-world fact. The Great Dismal Swamp Fires of 2008 burned underground for months, releasing preserved relics, buttons, bones, a child's whistle, right into suburban backyards. Internet ghost hunters swear the smoke still carries voices if you stand downwind at 3 a.m. Experts still argue whether it's acoustics or apology. I pull Clara's photo from my satchel. The X's are truly gone. Her eyes follow me, bright with 1893 mischief. The rule sheet is crisp, one line glowing faint. Tell the next passenger. The return ticket is just a stub now, hole punch clean through. Marla refills my coffee. You look like you rode the ghost line, she says casual. My granddad did, back in '73. Came home with a story and a limp. She taps her knee. Marsh took the feeling in his toes. Said the rules change every trip, but the ginger ale's always safe. She winks. Till it ain't. The bell above the door jingles. A kid shuffles in. Maybe 19, backpack slung low, eyes ringed purple like he hasn't slept since high school. He orders pancakes to go, voice cracking. His ticket sticks out of his pocket. 2:07 a.m. Union Hollow to Ashfall Mill. Same font, same cardstock. My stomach drops. The rule sheet warms against my thigh. Marla slides him a paper cup of ginger ale, unasked. On the house, Han for the ride. The kid takes it, confused, but pockets it. He pays, heads for the door. I'm on my feet before I decide to move. Hey, wait. He turns. Up close, his backpack is patched with band logos and a faded mill whistle patch. You're taking the night train? He nods, wary. I pull the rule sheet, press it into his hand. Read this. Memorize it. Don't skip a line. He unfolds it, brow furrowing. What is this, some LARP thing? I shake my head. Just trust me. And whatever you do, drink the ginger ale at the end. Only from the blue tin. His eyes flick to Marla. She's polishing the same spot on the counter, humming Clara's 5 short 1 long. The kid shrugs, tucks the sheet away. Whatever, man. Thanks, I guess. He leaves. The bell jingles again. Final. I sink back into the booth. The photo of Clara is warm now, almost alive. On the back, new words in fresh pencil. He'll need the whistle. My Foxhead mug is empty, but the coffee keeps refilling itself, steam curling into tiny antlers. Marla slides a plate in front of me. Pancakes, stacked high, dripping amber syrup that smells faintly of sap. On the house, she says. You earned it. I eat. They taste like childhood and endings. Outside, the sun climbs. The kid's silhouette shrinks down the street, backpack bouncing. The rule sheet is gone from my satchel, but the weight remains. I pay, leave a tip big enough to cover the next 10 riders. Marla pockets it without looking. Loop's closed for you, sugar. Till someone hands you a new sheet. She taps her knee again. Marsh keeps its own time. I step into the morning. The Historical Society waits, grant secure, microfiche cataloged. But in my pocket, the return stub has sprouted a single green shoot, curling toward the light. The whistle blows, distant, 5 short, 1 long. Not calling me. Calling him. The street outside the diner is ordinary in every way that matters. Cracked sidewalk, a cat licking its paw on a mailbox, the low hum of a delivery van idling at the light. Yet every breath I take tastes faintly of peat and ginger, and the sun, though bright, feels filtered through green glass. I walk toward the Historical Society, boots clicking a rhythm that echoes the train wheels I no longer hear. The shoot in my pocket has grown. It curls around the return stub like ivy claiming brick. When I pull it free, the stub is soft, almost fleshy, veins of pale green pulsing beneath the punched hole. Clara's photo is warm against my chest, a second heartbeat. Real-world fact. The Ashfall Mill whistle was cast from melted-down worker badges after the 1893 explosion. Metallurgists say the alloy still sings at certain frequencies, even when cold. Internet forums insist that if you record the Marsh at 3:33 a.m., the whistle answers back in reverse. Experts still argue whether it's wind through the chimneys or memory trying to clock in. Inside the society, the scanner hums. The grant email glows green on the screen, and the microfiche lies in neat rows like tiny tombstones. I should feel triumph. Instead, I feel watched. The cannon out front has sprouted moss overnight, real moss, thick and velvet, spelling thank you in curling letters. I touch it. The moss is warm, damp, alive. My phone buzzes, a new message from an unknown number. Files archived. Loop complete. Pass it on. Attached is a photo, Clara, younger, standing beside the kid from the diner. He's holding the rule sheet, eyes wide, fox whistle at his lips. Timestamp, 2:07 a.m. tonight. I delete the message, but the image burns behind my eyelids. The shoot in my pocket thickens, unfurls a single white flower that smells of ginger ale and rain. I tuck it behind Clara's photo. The society door locks itself behind me with a soft click, like a seatbelt. Outside, the town is quiet, too quiet. Even the cat has vanished. The diner sign flickers once, then steadies to closed. Marla's silhouette waves from the window, slow, deliberate. She lifts something, a fresh rule sheet, ink still wet. The path to the station appears where there was none before, gravel and cattails, glowing faint emerald under noon sun. I follow because my feet remember. The platform is restored, sodium lamp buzzing, clock frozen at 2:06. The train waits, single carriage, doors open like a mouth. Inside, the kid sits alone, rule sheet clutched white-knuckled. The crimson conductor stands beside him, cap in hand, hair moving though the air is still. She smiles at me, soft, almost human. Seat saved, archivist. I board. The doors seal. The whistle blows, 5 short, 1 long. The kid looks up, eyes moss green for a heartbeat, then his own color. You came back, he whispers. I sit across from him, pull the flower from my pocket. It's wilted now, petals edged brown. Drink the ginger ale, I say. Only from the blue tin. He nods, trembling. The guards appear, indigo coats pristine, faces kind. One hands him the tin. The other hands me a new ticket, blank, waiting. The train lurches. The Marsh rolls in, black water, silver reeds. The third bell tolls. I draw the curtains. The kid grips the tin like a lifeline. Outside, antlers scrape, vines bloom. The lunchbox opens to reveal a single child's shoe. The cycle begins again, gentle, inevitable. I close my eyes and hum Clara's tune. The flower in my pocket crumbles to dust that smells of home. Wind down. The wheels slow, the whistle fades, and the carriage rocks you like a cradle long after the story ends. Dawn is a promise now, soft gold beyond the painted window, and the ginger ale's warmth lingers in your throat, sweet, safe, final. Whatever waited in the dark has taken its souvenir and slipped back into the marsh, content for another year. The kid will make it, maybe. You will wake with sunlight on your face and the faint taste of spice on your tongue, wondering if the rules were dream or warning. Tuck them under your pillow anyway. The loop is patient. It always leaves a seat. Sleep now, traveler. The next bell is hours away, unless your clock reads 3 o'clock and the curtains twitch. Then keep them drawn. And whatever you do, drink only from the blue tin. End of script. Sleep tight, if you can.